Sometimes the greatest power is restraint. The sharpest move is patience. There's a timeless principle often forgotten in the heat of emotion. Never interrupt your enemy when he is making a mistake. Why? Because ego loves conflict. Pride wants to jump in, correct, fight, prove. But wisdom watches. Wisdom waits. When someone is actively sabotaging themselves, you gain nothing by stopping them. You don't need to correct every wrong move or expose every flaw. In fact, when you step in too soon, you warn them. You save them. You give them the chance to recover. But when you stay silent, you allow their own momentum to undo them. That's not cruelty, it's strategy. Whether in business, competition, or even personal dynamics, silence can be a weapon more powerful than words. By letting people show their true hand, you gain insight, leverage, and clarity. While they act impulsively, you move intentionally. While they burn energy on the wrong things, you conserve yours for the right moment. It takes strength to sit still. It takes self-mastery to hold your tongue when your pride is itching to speak. But power doesn't rush. Power observes. Power understands that every mistake they make is a step closer to your advantage, if you're patient enough to wait. So let them talk. Let them underestimate you. Let them think they've won while they celebrate too early. You're watching the game unfold. And when the dust settles, it won't be your words that won the battle. It will be your discipline. Because in the end, it's not always about outshouting your enemy. Sometimes the most dominant move is letting them destroy themselves while you stay completely, absolutely still. Intervening too soon can prevent your opponent from fully revealing their weakness. When you step in too early, out of pride, ego, or impatience, you may stop them just before they expose something critical. You may rescue them from the very trap they set for themselves. Every move they make in error is a thread unraveling their position, their plan, their power. But if you interrupt, you cut that thread short. You interfere with the process of their own undoing. Letting them continue allows you to gather information, watch patterns, and see how deep the cracks really run. You'll begin to understand not just what they're doing wrong, but why. That insight is gold. It gives you leverage not just in that moment, but for every move going forward. And it gives them something even more dangerous than defeat, the illusion of control, because people reveal their truest selves when they think they're winning. They get sloppy, overconfident, reckless. That's when they say too much, move too fast, or expose what they should have kept hidden. And all the while, you remain quiet, composed, watching their every step. That's not weakness. That's power in its most intelligent form. So when you see someone steering themselves off the edge, don't grab the wheel. Let them drive. Let them drift further into their own blind spot, because sometimes the smartest thing you can do is absolutely nothing. Silence gives you a strategic edge. It allows you to observe and prepare. In silence, you become the observer, not the reactor. You listen more than you speak. You read the room, study the players, and notice the moves no one else sees because they're too busy trying to be seen. While others are consumed by the noise of proving, defending, and dominating, you're focused on understanding, and understanding is power. When you're silent, you create space. Space to think clearly, space to plan deeply, space to detach emotionally and see the situation for what it truly is, not what your ego tells you it is. That silence becomes your shield. It protects your energy. It keeps you from making impulsive moves that feel good in the moment but cost you in the long run. Silence lets others underestimate you. It creates a false sense of security in your opponent, lulling them into carelessness while you sharpen your intent. It allows you to keep your motives hidden, your strategy intact, and your presence steady. You're not in the chaos, you're studying it. You're not reacting to their noise, you're tuning into your own clarity. And when the time comes to strike, your action will speak louder than any argument ever could. Because silence isn't passive, it's patient. It's precise. It's the calm before the storm you control. Let others waste their energy on noise. You stay silent, stay watching, and stay ready. Emotional reactions often sabotage long-term power. When you let emotions take the lead, anger, pride, insecurity, you're no longer acting from intention. You're reacting from impulse. And impulses are short-sighted. They feel good for a second, but they leave damage in their wake. Power, real power, is never built on outbursts. It's built on patience, precision, and control. One emotional misstep can cost you a reputation, a relationship, or an entire advantage you've been building quietly over time. In the heat of the moment, it's easy to justify lashing out, exposing your hand, or trying to dominate through emotion. But those moments are exactly where discipline is tested. The strongest person in the room isn't the loudest, it's the one who stays calm when everyone else is burning with ego. Power isn't just about how much you can do. It's about how much you can resist doing when it isn't necessary. When you respond emotionally, you show your opponent exactly where your buttons are, where your limits lie, where they can strike next. You give them a roadmap to manipulate you. But when you stay composed, when you control the urge to react, you keep your power in your hands. You send a message. I don't move unless I choose to. Emotion clouds judgment. It makes you sloppy. And in any game of power, whether it's business, life, or conflict, sloppiness is weakness. If you want to win long term, you have to trade emotional gratification for strategic silence. That's how empires are built, not in moments of heat, but in cold, calculated stillness. True strength is in restraint, not in proving a point. Anyone can speak, anyone can argue, anyone can react when their pride is touched. But it takes real discipline to choose silence when your ego is begging for attention. Restraint is a power most never master because it's quiet. It doesn't get applause. It doesn't get instant validation. But it builds a presence so unshakable, it commands respect without ever asking for it. The need to prove something often comes from insecurity. But when you're secure in who you are, what you know, and what you're capable of, you don't need to announce it. You don't need to convince anyone. You let your actions, your results, your energy do the talking. Restraint says, I could, but I don't need to. And that kind of control is terrifying to people who rely on chaos to win. Every time you choose not to fight a small battle, you preserve your energy for the war that actually matters. You don't waste your fire proving your worth to people who aren't worth your time. You protect your peace, your reputation, and your strategy by simply not reacting. That's not weakness, that's control. That's emotional maturity. That's strength at its highest form. Because proving a point may give you temporary satisfaction, but restraint gives you lasting power. Power over your reactions, power over your time, power over your future. And those who know how to wield that kind of power, they don't chase validation, they attract results. Letting someone walk into their own failure is often the smartest move. In a world where the instinct is to save, correct, or step in to make things right, it can be hard to resist the urge to intervene when you see someone heading towards their own downfall. But sometimes the best thing you can do is nothing at all. Allowing someone to experience the consequences of their own actions doesn't make you cruel. It makes you wise. By stepping back, you allow them the space to reveal their own weaknesses, to overreach, and to make mistakes that will, in the end, teach them more than any lesson you could give. The greatest lessons often come from failure, and by interfering, you rob them of the opportunity to learn. In the grand scheme of things, a small failure now can prevent far greater consequences down the road. While they think they are winning or gaining ground, they're actually digging a hole that will soon become their own undoing. It's not about watching someone fail and feeling satisfaction. It's about understanding that life's most painful lessons are often the most transformative. When you step back and let someone falter, you don't just preserve your own energy, you allow the situation to unfold naturally. You become a witness to their self-destruction, and through that observation you gain more power. Their mistakes give you valuable insight into their flaws, their weaknesses, and their patterns. You learn what to avoid, how to navigate around their errors, and how to position yourself for the future. In this way, their failure becomes your opportunity. And when they finally face the consequences, it won't be because you pointed them out, it will be because they were the ones who walked into it. Sometimes the smartest move is simply to let time reveal the truth and allow them to self-destruct while you remain poised, prepared, and undeterred. There is wisdom in letting things play out, for while they make their mistakes, you continue to sharpen your own strategy and position yourself for the ultimate win. In conclusion, the true path to power and success is not through loud words or impulsive actions, but through strategic silence, disciplined restraint, and the quiet strength of observation. By mastering the art of letting others reveal their flaws, by staying calm when chaos surrounds you, And by knowing when to hold your ground without reacting, you create a foundation of resilience and wisdom that others cannot easily shake. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. Your actions, your results, and your presence will do that for you. By allowing others to make their mistakes, you set yourself up to learn, to grow, and ultimately to succeed. Strength is not in dominating the moment, but in controlling yourself within it. It is in the quiet confidence that while others scramble for control, you are already preparing for victory. In the long run, it is restraint, patience, and the ability to allow others to walk into their own failure that will elevate you above the noise and into the realm of true power.